We are now recording. Welcome everyone to the CleanStart to-do list. So announcements. So there's a lot of cool programs online that you can check out. Hacker Lab has free online classes right now. The Energy Efficiency Institute, who we just had Ben Finkelor on last week, is putting on these Energy Bite seminars. This is a link to their upcoming seminars. They have one on the 10th, which actually sounds really exciting. It's about balancing load with water. California iBank loans, those provide smaller loans to smaller companies that wouldn't be affected by, that wouldn't be available to people, or that the SBA loans can't help. CleanStart to-dos, we have one coming up this Thursday, and then also next Tuesday at 9 a.m. with Karen Harding of UC Davis. I also want to remind people that if you have technology you want to test, check out the Cal Test Bed program, because their submission period is right now. Follow the link and submit your technology to get tested at a regional UC campus. Also tomorrow night at 6 p.m. SAC State Entrepreneurship Toolkit is happening. They'll help you with a lot of your customer discovery. I know I've seen several of you there, including Dick. And another one that I really like, 1 Million Cups, every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Go and hear some entrepreneurs pitch their ideas. And then here's some other resources. The Metro Chamber has a rapid response page, along with expert webcasts, which always has some good webinars that you can check out. And if you always want to stay on top of these things, where's the place that you sign up? Newsletters. CleanStart has a newsletter. Startup SAC has a newsletter. They're both great resources. And Chris, I looked to see if Frontier Energy had a newsletter. Do they?
Not yet, but
okay.
We are in the planning of that. So,
well, when you got one, let us know so that we can share it with the community. Now we get to go on to the exciting part where we get to hear from all of you. All right, so this is how the group introductions are going to work. We start off with the first person. They say their name and then why are they here, and then they introduce the next person. So it starts off with Laura Good, and you want to kick it off?
Yeah, so my name's Laura Good, and I'm one of the co-founders of Startup SAC, which helps startups in any industry connect with the resources in Sacramento. And I also work with CleanStart, do some of their program management and communications work. And I'm here to sort of break up the monotony of working at home every day of the week. And let me introduce Thomas.
Well, we're going to first go Gary Simon.
Okay.
Down the list.
I wasn't looking at the worksheet. I couldn't remember who was next.
All right. Hey, there's Amber. Hey, Amber. So, any rate, Laura, you've got a 1 million cups tomorrow morning. Who's on deck for 1 million cups?
Right now, it's called, I think it's Stairs, and it's a 18 or 19-year-old college student wants to teach financial literacy to youth. So that's what he's doing. And then that's the one we have confirmed, and we're working on getting this done. Okay.
All right. So that's 9 o'clock tomorrow, and you can go to 1 Million Cups. Where? What website?
It's linked above.
It's linked above. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
.com/Sacramento, or just Google search 1 Million Cups Sacramento.
Yeah. All right. Just wanted to make sure that people knew about that one. I will mention too, 2 p.m. tomorrow, Haney Biz has a webinar on applying for the loans, and they have Mike Rizzo of 5 Star Bank. So you can go to haneybiz.com and find out how to sign up for that if you're interested in that one in particular. But now let me introduce Mr. Awesome, Thomas.
I'm Thomas. I'm here because I like putting these things on and pushing the discussion forward. And I guess I'm here because I'm awesome. And I'd like to introduce Eva Shepard-Nicole.
Hi, everybody. From my kitchen, my sunny kitchen this morning. I'm the executive director of CleanStart, and we are a startup incubator and co-working space and industry-to-industry economic development collaborator for the North State. I'm here because I can always learn from others we're all in this boat, this really odd boat right now. And I look forward to learning from others and sharing what I learned here.
Great.
And then you're going to introduce Dick.
Oh, and now I'm going to introduce Mr. Dick Flassick from San Ramon.
Hi, I'm Dick Flask with RAF Electronics, and we're a 2019 Cal Seed awardee. I'm just trying to finish my project right now. It was scheduled to finish at the end of April, but the lockdown has postponed the completion of that project. So I'm kind of here chomping at the bit, trying to complete our project. And I'm here for the networking, and I will introduce Sato Ivumwan next.
Yeah, that's why we call him just a Sato.
I'll introduce just a Sato now.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Sato, and a Sac State student, and also an intern in CleanStart. I'm here to learn what's going on in the clean tech space besides what we see in TV. And I'll introduce Chris White.
Hi, I'm Chris White. I'm with Frontier Energy, and I'm thrilled to be here today and exchange ideas with other people. And I kick it over to Kian.
Okay.
He just unmuted himself, so we can't hear you.
Okay. Let's go on to David Takarsky.
Hi, my name is Dave Takarsky. I am a transportation planner at DKS Associates and also on the SAC EV Electric Vehicle Owners Board with Thomas.
Right.
That's where I heard about this, and I'm here because I've heard Thomas talking about it quite a bit, and I've worked closely with Chris White on some projects, and always happy to hear what Chris has to say. Hi, Chris.
And then we'll go to Amber Harris joining us from New York. Take us off mute.
Hi, everybody. I'm so thrilled to see CleanStart still having some valuable online presentations, and looking forward to learning more and sharing with others. Thanks.
That's great. And everything's going okay upstate New York for you?
Yeah, we haven't been hit as hard as the city yet, but of course we're all sheltering in place as well. I'm just happy that it's springtime outside, so.
Yeah, we've seen the pictures of the crocus, so it's a good sign.
Yeah.
All right, and how about Martin?
I'm Martin. I'm just here because I'm curious. How are you?
Well, welcome.
That's right. And I'm not sure
All right.
what's next. I'm not looking at that slide.
I can see him talking, but I can't hear him.
Yeah, it was quiet. I was able to hear him.
Okay. And how about Ariana?
Hi, Ariane Ortegare from Grid Alternatives. Interested to learn and hear about other energy industry perspectives about everything going on today.
Okay, and back to Scott.
Hi, I'm Scott Enos. I'm from Ernst & Young, one of the sponsors of CleanStart. So just here to learn and see what everybody is doing in the virtual environment.
Yeah, that's great. Are you doing a number of these kinds of video things, Scott, or is this one of the few?
Yeah, we are doing a lot of virtual presentations and videos now. So definitely a big change from doing things in person. So we're all trying to get used to it still.
Yeah, that's a great introduction to Chris White, because Chris, you're going to tell us about effing first time.
Well, first I was hoping that we could talk about what Frontier Energy is doing with some of the adjustments here.
Okay. So Chris, you've got a fairly wide span on Frontier Energy. You're all the way down to LA, Oakland, San Ramon, as well as in Sacramento. How are you adjusting to the new reality? Oops.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Chris.
That's because I have a button here down here and I play with it all the time. And I turn it off on this. So I was going to say, not only are we California, we're Minnesota, Texas, and upstate New York.
Oh, good heavens.
So it is a national company. And
Where are you in New York?
we're in the little town of Cazenovia, which is near Syracuse.
Huh, not that far. Amber, you have to go over and say hi to them. Amber, you're somewhere around where Cornell is. I forget exactly. But at any rate,
Ithaca.
Excuse me, Ithaca.
That's not too
Chris.
far. About an hour and some change. Yeah.
Not too far. So my job at Frontier Energy for the company and for our clients is really looking at marketing and business development. And as you all know, we're in this weird change of the space-time continuum. And we have some projects that have gone on hold. We have other projects that have sped up. And the order in which that we're changing our work is different than what we expected. And I'm sure that that is true for everybody. And when you're thinking about how you stay relevant, how you get the word out there about your company and your services and what you're doing when every one of your clients is in here, you have to think about how to do these things differently. So I'm going to give you two different thoughts to think about. The first is, you may have remembered from back when you were in school about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It is that pyramid structure that was developed in the 1940s, and the psychologist who developed it, his name was Maslow, obviously. He developed it to really understand commercialism and why people seem to be happier with things than they were with being. So in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he said the basic need is the physiological beat. You need food, shelter, sleep, clothing. You need the things that make you comfortable. The second level of need is for safety, and it's personal safety. It also means employment. It means health. It means the safety of your property. And it's only when those two things are met can we move on to the next set of needs. The next step up is love and belonging, that you have a club, that you have a friendship, that you belong to a group and that you are accepted. Then we move up a level from there, and it's esteem, self-respect, recognition, strength. And then the top level of it is self-actualization, the desire to be all that you can be. I will tell you, I'm almost 60 years old and have been doing a lot of personal development in the last few years. And I think, why did I wait till I was this old to do this valuable work? Why wasn't I doing this in my 20s? It's because in my 20s, I was still working on the bottom level of the pyramid. I wasn't ready for that top level of the pyramid yet. So now let's take that pyramid and put it into what's happening to all of us today, and to our clients, and to the people that we're serving. We are back at the bottom of the pyramid. This is why people are hoarding food. It's why they're hoarding toilet paper. It's why people are, in some cases, building their house like a fortress. They are trying to make sure that their home is ready to take care of that physiological need. Then we see people focusing on safety, right? We saw that suddenly this week. We as a country, we as a people are more aware of face masks and PPE and social distancing. We've seen that elevate in the conversation. We've also seen in this last 2 weeks that love and belonging elevate as well. The rush to video conferencing, the number of meetings that we're all attending online, is that we are really looking at those needs. So I want you to keep those needs in mind. And by the way, for consumer products, 99% of consumer products sold are targeted at those three bottom parts of the pyramid. So now let's jump to another subject, and let's talk about the current reality. McKinsey & Company has done quite a bit of work on what does recovery look like. And they say right now we are in the midst of a disaster. And this disaster, the pattern of it is the same as if it's an earthquake or a devastating fire, things that we as Californians have been through before. or if you happen to be in New York, Superstorm Sandy, or if you're in the southern part of the US through Hurricane Katrina. We are in the midst of a crisis, and that midst may last through May, it may last through June. Then we move into a recovery mode. And what could happen, McKinsey says we could be in recovery through October, and then we move into whatever the new normal is, or we could be into recovery and then go back into the midst. It just depends upon how the crisis plays out. What do we want to do right now? Well, while we're in the midst of this crisis, we want to make sure that we are showing that our clients, our potential customers, whomever, that we are reliable. They can count on us. We will deliver what we say. We are not going to use excuses for I need another 2 months extension or I can't meet my deadlines. We have to show reliability. Ways that you do that, you show up for meetings on time, you respond to emails, you are in front of the fact that if you literally cannot get into a lab to do work, that you are in front of the fact that you can't do that and you give your client a new timeline. The other thing is sorry, I'm looking at my notes on things too, is to focus on the utility that you offer. Now, in the first blush of this, I thought, for our clients, we deal with a lot of utilities, companies, local governments, other entities. Many of them had a challenge with video conferencing from home. And I thought, well, utility that we can offer is we can let them use our video conferencing systems. Yeah, that's some utility. That's helpful. Then I started looking at things like the Hacker Lab making the face shields and the number of people who are sewing face masks. That's also utility. I'm not sure that that's the utility that we think about when we're offering something that our clients need right now. So I'm going to encourage you to go back to that hierarchy of need. When you think about your clients or your businesses that you're working with, your partners, what do they need right now that addresses the physiological need? Shelter, food, clothing. And what do they need to address a safety need right now? And for folks in our space, one of the things that we can really think about for safety is touchless systems. Think about the things in an office building that everybody touches all the time. The doorknobs, the light switches, the trash can. What type of technology can we take that we are already doing it and use it to address that need? One of the things, because I mostly work in transportation, that popped out with me is how much we touch on a public transit system. From the time that you buy a ticket till you get on the train or the bus, how many things are you touching? And how can we use technology to make that touchless, but also make it accessible to the people who don't have a smartphone in their pocket? So when you're thinking about utility, think about what you know, think about the folks that you're working with, and then think about their clients and say, in the face of this new normal, what can I do to encourage, to fill that basic need for safety right now? The other thing you can think about is the love and belonging. And we've all jumped on a video conference, and I think that's great. I'm all for it too. I'm having video conference lunch today with a group of friends. I'm having video conference. Tonight's our night to go to a play that's been canceled. So we're all going to get on video conference and have dinner and then watch a movie together. I think that's great. How do we take that one step further and say, this is what I do for a living, and this is how I can offer some love and belonging? One of our divisions works specifically with restaurants and helps restaurants be more energy efficient. They are in a bad shape right now in restaurant land. So they are trying to bring those restaurant owners together, trying to do more online training for when you get back to work, but they've also done quite a bit of reaching out about how these restaurants can change the way they're using energy while they are closed or doing different type of business to reduce their energy bill. So they're addressing quite a few things together. Love and belonging, we love you, we're reaching out, we're helping you. Safety, we want to make sure that you're safe in your space, and that physiological need of food, water, shelter, keeping you open and employed while you're in business. So I'm going to stop and ask thoughts. I see Eva taking notes, which I love. She's the only person I can see on there right now. Thoughts, ideas, anything. Yeah, at the Zoom, I only see 4 people on it at a time. I have to scroll through to see other people. Anything that perks up in your head, you want to discuss a little bit more, chew over with this group of people, think through a little bit more, even get some feedback on?
Sure. So the things that caught my ear had to do with providing probably more consistency when you were talking about reliability, showing up, etc. I'm trying to put out messages once a week, excuse me, and sometimes twice a week if they're urgent to my constituents, so to speak, and because I don't want to overwhelm them. But at the same time, I want to make sure they get, because I think there's some of that going on too. And I'm sure you'll be talking about that in regards to how people deal with these things. So that's something I've been mulling over as I'm listening to you and making other notes. And then I always think, on a last note, because I don't want to hog this, and I always think about adversity breeds creativity. And in that, when you were talking about touchless systems, I was thinking about all my startups. And so those are things that are mulling through my mind.
I was immediately thinking of the clap on, clap off lights, except for this time when you clap, your computer turns off, your door's shut, and
But I thought about that too, and just other things that I see or think. And I do remember at one of the entrepreneur pitch events, the folks from Hank who have the remote building maintenance system. And is this a time to take those products that already exist and just rethink about that Maslow hierarchy of needs and say, yes, it will save you money. Another real benefit is that we remove the number of devices that people are physically handling in your workspace. Is there a way to say, if we're already monitoring your indoor air quality, we can extend it to this? Is there an opportunity to say, I have this power generation system, or I have this indoor ventilation system that works for this reason, and it can also do these other things as well? Purify the air, sense when things are not going the way that they should be going within your house. So it is a little about extending what your focus already is on what people need right now. And safety is a big one.
That's a big one. The one I would think about is yesterday, Barbara and I spent some time just contacting friends that we just wanted to make sure that they were doing okay. And of course, I think everybody's experienced the weirdness of the run on toilet paper, and you can't find it on shelves. The other thing that I can't explain is flour. You can't find flour in stores. So yesterday we scored a source of flour. We bought 20 pounds of flour, and I guess we did the Easter Bunny thing. There were several people that were out of flour, so we ended up going over and leaving sacks of flour from our big stash, and they were very grateful. So, on that need and belonging and everything you're talking about, Chris, it's not just your family, and it's not necessarily just your business colleagues, but there are other people out there that have needs that you want to make sure you're staying in contact with. You never know who's having a rough time because we're not seeing each other.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I want to transfer into the to-dos that Chris is going to add to the CleanStart COVID to-do list. So these are the 3 that we talked about before. One of them you probably saw in a short video, but I'm going to ask Chris to summarize these in a nice manner.
Okay. So my number 1 tip is to keep a routine. I used to be a home-based worker, and then I went back into an office. It was a real change to go back to an office, but it's been easy for me to fall back into being a home-based worker. And the important thing is to still have a routine. Your morning routine is what prepares your brain to start work. If you have started a routine that is, I fall out of bed, I don't get dressed, I pick up my computer and I start work, I'm not sure that you have told your brain to engage yet. So whatever your routine is, follow your routine. And if you can roll out of bed and get ready for work, go for it. I will tell you, part of my routine is I go to the gym in my house every morning. I take a shower. I get dressed like I'm going to work from the waist up. I still have my pajama pants on and I'm wearing my slippers. But that is my routine. The second thing is to manage your inner critic. And I lead these inner critic workshops. I've been doing it for years. And a psychologist, Jay Earley, says that each person has an inner critic, usually two, and an inner champion. The inner critic is that voice inside your head who tells you work a little harder, or you're not measuring up, or people are going to judge you, or they'll remember this forever. Recognize that you have this voice. When your life is out of balance, that voice can get especially loud. And that voice, that critic, is really there to keep you safe. It's there to keep you from making mistakes or doing silly things that could be harmful. But that voice can get to be so overbearing that it keeps you from growing and trying new things. So when you hear that critic coming up, and by the way, your inner critic absolutely comes out of your mouth with your children and your spouse. And it can absolutely, if you have a taskmaster inner critic that says you must work on this until you are done, if you see a person in your household take a break, your inner critic will come out of your mouth at that person. So be really cautious about telling that inner critic, it's okay if we take breaks. It's a new space-time continuum. Let's let it go a little bit. And if you'd like to do an inner critic workshop, it's about an hour and a half online. It's really fun. Happy to do it. The third one is to remember this is a first time. My favorite author, Brené Brown, who writes a series of books about unleashing your potential. She calls it an effing first time. The first time that you do something, it's really challenging. I mentioned I work out. I do strength training. I have transitioned to cardio. My first cardio class last week, I hated it. Said, this is stupid. I'm never going to do this again. I'm not cut out for this. By the fourth one, it was better. Today was the 9th one, and it's really not that bad. So just remember that when you do something for the first time, it's going to be hard. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to think it's stupid. And the best thing you can do is give it a name and call it an FFT. Brené says if you have kids, call it a TFT, a terrible first time. Laugh about it and then decide how it's going to be better the second time. And then when you get to the 10th time, you can look back and go, remember when that was so hard? It's like in the last week, we've all learned how to get our mute button off really quickly. So those are my 3 to-dos.
That is great, Chris, and we thank you for that. Let me take the opportunity to welcome Luis and Yuval. If you're still on, Luis, could you introduce yourself? You're on mute. And
okay, all right, thank you. Good morning. I'm Luis Sanchez. I'm the CEO of Community Resource Project here in Sacramento. We're a nonprofit that delivers weatherization, energy efficiency to low-income families in 3 counties.
That's fantastic. That sounds very interesting. We may want to talk to you some more on that. And Yuval, could you introduce yourself if you're still on the meeting?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Yuval Adri. I actually work at GTI, so we're involved with Frontier Energy. So familiar with Chris. We got a chance to volunteer together a few months back at a Habitat for Humanity project. So that's been fun. Sorry I was a little late, so I wasn't able to check out the full webinar, but I realize it's recorded, so I'll be taking a look. And we do energy efficiency research and development. So I'm interested to take a second look at this.
Yeah, well, please join us again.
Absolutely.
As we said, the next one's on Thursday. There'll be one on Friday, I think, and then we start next week. We have a list online of who's upcoming. I know we're over, but I don't care. Amber, anything you want to offer from your experience? You've been working with a lot of groups back there.
Yeah, thank you. So, Chris, what you said really resonated with me. I really appreciate the highlights there. And one thing that I've seen is some businesses who I think are really savvy are taking this opportunity to really connect on a heartfelt note with their clients. So I had one colleague who did a blog post about appreciating her clients. And so she highlighted half a dozen clients where she talked about what they're doing, how they're acclimating to the new reality. And I think that kind of extra warm touch creates a long-term sense of well-being and loyalty. So it makes me want to use her again in the future. And just acts like that of businesses, whether they're larger businesses or contractors who are connecting with their clients and their colleagues on like a personal level, can have a lot of meaning and I think long-term impact.
Well, that's great. And, all these ideas we're trying to capture. I think our list with Chris's additions is now up to 12 to-dos. These sessions are recorded and we're trying to summarize them in blogs. But back over to you, Thomas.
Oh, well, I want to thank everyone for attending. I want to also have additional thanks to other program sponsors that we have, which include EY, Stoller Reeves, Moss Adams, and Hacker Lab. And we have a whole community of partners from Sierra Energy Research Group, New Energy Nexus, and we've worked also and had events at Frontier Energy. They've been very gracious in hosting us several times. So we're trying to bring everyone together to continually talk about these things and provide more resources. So make sure that you check out our upcoming one with Mark Humbert of Moss Adams this Thursday, and next week Karen Harding on Tuesday, and Thursday hopefully we'll be able to have someone from the city come in and talk at it. Stay connected through CleanStart.org. Remember, sign up for those newsletters at CleanStart and at Startup SAC. And I hope to see you guys in the future. And one quick personal plug, if you're on Facebook, look up Uplift Sacramento. I'm doing a similar series with people from all of the ecosystems, just coming to chat about how things are going and what they're doing to adjust. So thank you all for coming, and hopefully see you guys later this week.
Okay, remember to bring a hat.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Amber. Hey, good to see you
I'm
here.
trying to find my exits button here. Yeah, I figured it out.
It hides. It hides.
I'm like, I know it's there.
Whenever you do, I notice that whenever you do the share screen on both sides, it starts hiding stuff.
Okay, there it is. Thank you. Okay, bye.
All right. Bye.